The morning is not just a time on the clock. The morning is law. Florence Scovel Shinn taught us that beginnings carry divine weight, that the seed always carries the harvest within it. And what is your morning if not the seed of your entire day? The way you step into it, the way you speak into it, the way you move in its first light, it decides everything that follows. And here's what most people miss. Every ordinary action in the morning is secretly extraordinary. Every sip, every word, every gesture is a decree. When you lift your coffee cup, you are not just holding a drink. You are holding a chalice. The steam rising from it is not random. It is incense. It is offering. It is the visible breath of your invisible word. That's why this teaching is so dangerous and so divine. Because most people wake up and sip defeat. They sip worry. They sip doubt. They sip lack. They drink from the cup of yesterday's fears, and then wonder why today tastes bitter. They do not realize that the cup in their hand is an altar, and their words over it are the spell that writes their entire day. Florence wrote, "The subconscious mind has no sense of humor, and people often joke themselves into unhappy experiences. Words are seeds. If words are seeds, then morning coffee is soil. Hot, fertile, receptive. It takes in what you speak. It carries it through your breath, your bloodstream, your energy field. The coffee is not just caffeine. It is communion." And so the sacred practice begins here. Speak wealth over your morning coffee, not as a superstition, not as a trick, but as law, as command, as covenant. When you lift the cup, whisper, "This day is rich, this day is fertile, this day bends to my decree. As I drink increase. As I sip supply. Every drop is wealth in motion, and it obeys me." Do you feel the difference? Suddenly, your morning coffee becomes holy. Suddenly, the kitchen is a temple. Suddenly, the small act of sipping becomes a cosmic broadcast that heaven and earth cannot ignore. And here's the mystery. Why coffee? Why does this simple ritual work with such power? Because coffee is rhythm. It is daily. It is habit. And the divine law responds most fiercely to rhythm. Repetition builds resonance. Repetition builds frequency. Repetition engraves truth into the very fabric of reality. Think about it. You might miss a workout. You might miss a meditation. You might miss 1,000 small habits. But coffee, you never miss. And that is why it is chosen. That is why this ritual carries weight. Because every single day, you stand before this altar without fail, cup in hand. And what better place to seat a command than in the one act you will never neglect? Florence said, "Man must stop believing in adverse conditions, but realize that all power is given to him to bring heaven upon earth." That power is your word, spoken over the ordinary until it becomes extraordinary, spoken over the common until it becomes holy, spoken over coffee until it becomes command. Here is what I want you to imagine. Tomorrow morning, when you pour your cup, picture every drop as liquid gold. See it steaming with wealth. See it carrying within it the vibrations of prosperity. When you lift it, feel as though you are lifting a cup overflowing with abundance. And then, before you take a sip, speak, command, declare. Do not ask, do not beg, do not plead with the universe. Coffee is not for requests. Coffee is for commands. It is the hour of decree. So say it again. I do not drink for energy alone. I drink for wealth. I drink for divine command. I drink to remind myself that prosperity is my portion, and this day obeys me. Pause here and let the truth settle. Wealth is not distant. Wealth is daily. Wealth is present. And wealth listens to what you speak over your first cup. This is only the beginning, because as you will see, this simple practice not only sets the vibration of your day, it rewires your subconscious, reprograms your body, and places divine law on speed dial. The next time you sit, you will not just drink coffee, you will drink destiny. When you lift that cup each morning, you are not just waking your body, you are waking your subconscious. And this is where the secret lies. Florence Scovel Shinn made it clear. Your word is your wand. But here's the deeper truth. The wand only works when it touches the subconscious. The conscious mind is like the hand that holds the wand, but the subconscious is the ground that receives its touch. Think of your conscious mind as the announcer, but your subconscious mind as the executor. The conscious speaks the word, but the subconscious enforces it without question. And the subconscious listens most closely in the first and last minutes of your day. Morning and night, the gateways. So why is coffee so perfect for this law? Because it happens exactly in that gateway. Right as you are still soft, still impressionable, still between sleep and wake. The mind is not yet clogged with noise, not yet rushing with duties, not yet hardened by stress. It is fertile soil. It is fresh ground. And whatever you speak into that cup, it takes root. Now imagine the millions of people who wake up and drink coffee while muttering, "Ugh, another day. I'm tired. I can't afford this. Life is hard." They are not just drinking bitterness. They are programming it. They are planting weeds in their garden before the sun even rises. And the subconscious, ever faithful, will water those weeds all day long. Florence warned, man must stop expecting failure, and he will never experience it. Yet, how many expect failure with their very first sip? They sigh into it. They drink lack. They sip discouragement. And they wonder why the day bends against them. But you will not do this. You will consecrate the cup. You will turn the habit into holy command. You will train your subconscious to hear wealth, not worry, command, not complaint, decree, not defeat. Here's how it works. The subconscious mind has no filter of humor, no sarcasm, no maybe. It takes everything you say as literal command. So when you declare into your coffee, "This day bends to me. This day is rich. Every sip awakens wealth," your subconscious does not argue. It files the order. It programs the pattern. It sends wealth into your awareness. The subconscious is like a butler who never questions. If you say, "I am broke," it rushes to bring you broke experiences. If you say, "I am wealthy," it rushes to present wealthy opportunities. Coffee, then, is the ritual that reinforces the command. Every morning, the butler is listening at the door. and coffee is the bell that tells him you are ready to speak. Think of the steam rising. It is the visible form of your invisible decree. As you whisper, the steam carries it upward, as though delivering your order to the unseen. And as the liquid enters your body, it is as if the decree is written inside of you, absorbed into your cells, pulsing through your bloodstream. Now here is where science joins spirit. Neuroscientists have found that habits performed at the same time daily carve grooves into the brain. They anchor thought patterns deeper and faster. Your morning ritual is not just routine, it is neuroprogramming. So when you speak wealth into your coffee every single morning, you are not just declaring, you are rewiring. You are embedding wealth thinking into your very brain circuits. Florence said, "Man can only receive what he sees himself receiving." By repeating these words each morning, you are teaching yourself to see it. You are training your imagination to look for proof of wealth instead of proof of lack. You are tilting your perception so opportunities stand out like neon signs instead of hiding in plain sight. Let me give you an example. Imagine two people walk into the same coffee shop. One mutters, "I can't afford much. Life's hard." The other whispers, "Wealth flows to me. This coffee is rich, and I am richer." Both sip the same liquid in the same place at the same time. Yet one walks out blind to opportunities, while the other walks out magnetic. Why? Because the subconscious only shows you what you told it to look for. This is why the morning cup is not optional. It is the battlefield. The war is won or lost before breakfast. And you, beloved, will win. So tomorrow, when you lift that cup, say this: "Every drop of this coffee carries wealth into my life. Every sip writes prosperity into my cells. I am not drinking coffee. I am drinking command, and command obeys me." And then sip slowly, as if each swallow is sealing the law inside of you. Feel the warmth in your chest. Imagine it radiating outward as light, as gold, as magnetism. This is not fantasy. This is law. When you lift that cup each morning, you are not just waking your body, you are waking your subconscious. And this is where the secret lies. Florence Scovel Shinn made it clear. Your word is your wand. But here's the deeper truth. The wand only works when it touches the subconscious. The conscious mind is like the hand that holds the wand, but the subconscious is the ground that receives its touch. Think of your conscious mind as the announcer. But Florence Scovel Shinn wrote, "The game of life is a game of boomerangs. Man's thoughts, deeds, and words return to him sooner or later with astounding accuracy." Do you see the hidden law here? It is rhythm. It is the cycle. What goes out must return. What is spoken must echo back. What is repeated must carve itself into reality. Now, coffee is not just liquid, it is rhythm. Every morning, the same act, the same cup, the same ritual. That is why it carries such power. Because divine law listens to rhythm like a musician listens for a drum beat. Heaven leans into patterns. The subconscious memorizes the repeated. The universe echoes what is consistent. Think of it this way. A single word may pass like a pebble tossed into a lake, but a word spoken every day becomes a hammer striking stone. Day by day, it wears through. It imprints. It engraves. That is what your coffee command does. Not just one morning, not just once in a while, but every morning, faithfully. And the more faithfully you repeat it, the more faithfully life must obey it. This is why Florence emphasized persistence. She wrote, "Man must make his affirmations courageously and continually. By doing so, he impresses the subconscious mind and makes it act." Do you see? Courageously and continually. Not weekly, not sometimes, but daily, like the rising of the sun. Now consider this. You may pray once and forget. You may meditate sometimes. You may read a book here and there. But coffee, you never forget. The body itself reminds you. It craves it. It pulls you to the ritual. And that craving becomes your ally. The very thing you thought was just habit becomes holy covenant. Because every time you drink, you decree. And every time you decree, heaven records. Let's make this real. Imagine tomorrow morning, you stand in your kitchen. The smell of coffee fills the air. You pour it slow, and as the liquid swirls, you whisper, "Every swirl is wealth swirling into my day. Every rising steam is prosperity rising to meet me. Every sip engraves abundance deeper into my life." And then the next day, you do the same, and the next, and the next. At first, you may feel nothing, but the law is not about feelings. The law is about rhythm. A drumbeat does not need your approval to be steady. It just needs to be struck again and again. And so little by little, the subconscious shifts. Little by little, your eyes notice wealth where they once noticed lack. Little by little, your tongue grows unwilling to complain. Little by little, your spirit grows strong in decree. Until one day you realize you are no longer practicing wealth command. You are wealth command. This is why rhythm matters, because it moves you from effort into embodiment. At first, it feels like effort. You remember, you whisper, you declare. But repetition engraves the groove so deep that one day, you no longer try, you just are. Florence called this the effortless effort. When the subconscious has been fully impressed, the word no longer requires force. It has become natural. You no longer have to push wealth. You simply walk in it. So tomorrow, when you sip your coffee, remember, you are not just drinking caffeine. You are hammering law into your life. You are striking the drumbeat of abundance. You are engraving prosperity into your subconscious with every repeated decree. And here is the mystery hidden in plain sight. Wealth does not respond to one loud shout. Wealth responds to steady command. Not the explosion, but the rhythm. Not the desperate cry, but the consistent decree. That is why coffee works. That is why it obeys. Because you will not miss it, and because you will not stop. So speak again. This cup is covenant. This ritual is rhythm. This command is law. As long as I drink, I decree. And as long as I decree, wealth obeys. Pause, let it sink. Imagine yourself months from now, having spoken this every morning. Can you feel the difference? Can you see how much wealth has already obeyed? The rhythm carries it. The repetition seals it. And the law, like a boomerang, must return it to you. Florence Scovel Shinn often reminded her students, there is an invincible power in the spoken word, and man can only be defeated by himself. What did she mean? That everything around you can be enlisted in your service if you give it the right word. Even something as ordinary as coffee. Now you may ask, why coffee? Why not tea or water or bread? The answer is layered, and when you understand it, you will never sip casually again. First, coffee symbolizes energy. It awakens the body. It stirs the mind. It jolts you out of slumber. This is exactly what wealth does when commanded. It awakens. Dormant opportunities spring alive. Hidden connections surface. Creative energy flows. Coffee is not just a stimulant. It is a symbol of rising, of quickening, of movement. So when you speak over coffee, you are aligning your decree with a physical action that embodies awakening. You are saying, as this drink stirs me, so my wealth is stirred. Second, coffee carries the power of focus. People reach for it when they need to concentrate, when they need clarity, when they need their mind sharpened. And wealth responds the same way. It requires focus, clarity, and attention. To declare prosperity while holding the very substance that sharpens focus is to tie your words with symbolism so strong the subconscious cannot ignore it. Every sip becomes a focusing act, a narrowing of energy toward abundance. Third, coffee is a social currency. How many meetings, contracts, partnerships, and friendships begin over coffee? How many deals are discussed across a cup? It has become a global symbol of connection, of commerce, of exchange. When you hold that cup and declare wealth, you are commanding not just personal increase, but social increase. You are calling forth the right conversations, the right partners, the right opportunities that come through connection. And fourth, coffee is dark, rich, artful, and fertile. Look at its color, like the soil that grows the harvest. Look at its depth, like the subconscious mind itself, rich and hidden. To pour into your body this symbol of richness, while speaking words of wealth, was to embody the law of correspondence. As above, so below. As within, so without. Coffee becomes the mirror of your decree. Florence said, "The invisible forces are ever working for man, who is always pulling the strings himself." When you speak over coffee, you are pulling strings that tie energy, focus, social connection, and richness together into one ritual. And your subconscious, ever obedient, begins to treat each sip as covenant. Now let's make this practical. Tomorrow morning, before you drink, hold the cup close and whisper, "As this drink awakens me, so wealth awakens for me. As this drink sharpens me, so prosperity sharpens around me. As this drink connects me, so riches connect to me. As this drink fills me, so abundance fills my life." Then sip with intention. Feel the warmth traveling into your body. Imagine it lighting up your chest with golden energy. Picture it spreading through your veins, carrying wealth into every cell. This is not fantasy. It is law dressed in symbol. Your subconscious thrives on symbol. It listens more to pictures, rituals, and sensory anchors than to abstract ideas. That is why this ritual works so deeply. Florence taught, "Man must prepare for the thing he has asked for when there isn't the slightest sign of it in sight." Coffee becomes that preparation. Before the money shows, you sip as if it is here. Before the wealth arrives, you drink as though you are already full. You embody the vibration of prosperity in your body, before it manifests in your bank. Here is the deeper mystery. Your subconscious cannot tell the difference between the symbol and the reality. To it, the cup is the wealth. The sip is the supply. The ritual is the riches. And so it aligns your outer world with your inner decree. So do not sip absent-mindedly tomorrow. Do not drink while scrolling your phone or complaining about your schedule. That is drinking defeat. That is sipping scarcity. Instead, pause. Sip slow. Declare loud. Let your cup become your covenant. Say again with me, this coffee is my contract with wealth. Every drop obeys my decree. I sip prosperity, and it fills my life. Florence Scovel Shinn declared, "No man is a success in business unless he loves his work." The picture of success must be held unwaveringly and with joy. What if I told you that your coffee is not just a morning command, but a picture frame for your entire day? Here's what I mean. Your morning coffee ritual does not end when the cup is empty. The decree you speak into it is designed to echo long after the last sip. The warmth in your body becomes an anchor. The taste on your tongue becomes a reminder. The energy it gives you becomes a carrier. And each of these elements ties back to your spoken words, reinforcing them as you move through the hours ahead. Think about it. When you sip your coffee at 7 a.m. and whisper, "Wealth flows through me all day," those words do not fade with the steam. They ride with you into traffic. They walk with you into meetings. They sit with you at your desk. They echo through every decision. And the subconscious, trained in rhythm and repetition, scans the day to deliver proof of what you commanded. Florence wrote, "Never affirm lack, affirm abundance, regardless of appearances." And your morning cup gives you perfect chance to lock that affirmation into place. Imagine catching yourself in the middle of a difficult conversation later that day and suddenly remembering, wait, I already commanded wealth into this day over my coffee. I don't need to worry. It's already obeying. That awareness changes your posture. It changes your words. It changes your outcome. Now let me ask you something, and be honest. What would you declare over your coffee if you knew the entire day would be shaped by those exact words? Think about it. What phrase would you whisper into the cup, knowing it would govern every door, every conversation, every opportunity until bedtime? Drop your answer in the comments below. When you write it, you're not just sharing with me, you're reinforcing it in yourself. You're impressing it deeper. And when you read the declarations of others, you'll feel the collective current of prosperity rising with you. And if you're new here, or if you've been listening quietly for a while, this is your moment. Subscribe, not just for the sake of clicking a button, but because every video here is another decree waiting to be spoken, another ritual waiting to be anchored. Subscribing is like placing a standing order for wealth teachings to arrive at your doorstep every single day. Don't miss it. Now let's return to the practice. Tomorrow morning, when you sip your coffee, add a specific command for the day ahead. Try this. This coffee carries prosperity into every conversation I have today. This coffee carries abundance into every decision I make today. This coffee carries wealth into every step I take today. Pause and imagine yourself walking through your entire day with that decree woven into your body. Each time you feel the coffee's energy in your system, remember it's not just caffeine, it's covenant. Each time you taste its flavor, remember it's not just drink, it's decree. Each time you feel its warmth, remember it's not just comfort, it's command. Florence taught, man must prepare for the thing he has asked for when there isn't the slightest sign of it in sight. Coffee becomes that preparation. You sip as though it is already so. You declare as though it has already arrived. And the law, ever faithful, obeys. Say this with me now, one last time before you sleep, tonight, so it's etched into your subconscious. My morning coffee is my daily command. What I decree into it echoes all day long. Wealth obeys me from dawn to dusk. Florence Scovel Shinn declared, life is a game of giving and receiving. Whatever man sends out in word or deed will return to him. What he gives, he will receive. Now pause and think about that. Every word you've ever spoken into your morning has already shaped the evenings that followed. Every whisper into your coffee has returned to you in some form, whether you realized it or not. That is why today's teaching matters so deeply. This is not just about one morning. This is about every morning. Your coffee ritual is not meant to be a short burst, a trendy experiment, or a curious try. It is meant to be a covenant, a lifetime decree, a daily practice that outlasts moods, outlasts doubts, outlasts circumstances. Because here is the truth. Circumstances bend, but law does not. And Florence built her teachings entirely on law. Imagine with me for a moment. A year from now, you have spoken wealth into your coffee every single day. That is 365 days of decree, 365 mornings of alignment, 365 commands spoken into your subconscious, into your body, into your energy. Can you even begin to picture the avalanche of prosperity such consistency will unleash? Now stretch it further. Imagine 10 years of this covenant. Thousands of mornings where you refused to sip without decree. Thousands of affirmations pressed into your subconscious like ink pressed into parchment. Do you see? You will not just have spoken wealth, you will have become wealth. Florence said, the invisible forces are ever working for man, who is always pulling the strings himself. Your coffee is one of those strings. Each sip pulls prosperity closer. Each whisper anchors wealth deeper. Each decree pulls heaven's law into earth's rhythm. Now here is the final secret. The ritual is not in the coffee. It is in you. The cup is only a carrier. The true power is your word. The true weapon is your decree. Coffee is just the stage on which your command performs. And when you realize this, you'll see that the ritual can never fail, because the law behind it never fails. So tomorrow, when you hold your cup, remember, you are not drinking caffeine. You are drinking covenant. You are sipping command. You are absorbing abundance. And the universe, like a faithful servant, is rushing to obey. Say it with me now. As long as I live, my mornings belong to wealth. Every cup is consecrated. Every sip is sacred. Every word is law. I am one with abundance, and abundance obeys. Pause. Breathe. Feel it. This is not just words. It is transformation. Now I want you to do something important. Leave a comment below declaring one phrase you will speak over your coffee tomorrow morning. Let it be your public decree, your written covenant. And when you see others share theirs, read them, echo them, and let the ripple of wealth declarations grow stronger. And if you haven't yet, subscribe. Not because it's routine, but because this channel is your daily well of decree. Every video is a fresh command waiting to be spoken. When you subscribe, you're joining a circle of souls who rise each morning with law on their lips and prosperity in their path. Florence Scovel Shinn said it best. Man can only receive what he sees himself receiving. And you, by speaking wealth into your cup, are seeing it, sipping it, and soon you will be living it. This is the footnote of your mornings, the covenant of your days. Speak wealth, sip wealth, live wealth, and remember always, wealth obeys.